Good morning, welcome to my channel. This is going to be a reading for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. It's a general reading, so until the cards come out, I can't tell you whether it's going to be love, finance, career, whatever. I can only read the messages that the cards give me, so I'll try and give you a heads up in the title of the video, but as it goes right this second, I don't know what's going to come out. Usual things, if the messages don't resonate, don't try and make them fit, because they're clearly not for you. I've had a lot of people on this planet and cannot tune into the energies of all of them at the same time. That would literally be impossible. My brain would probably explode. So, try again next month, or have a look at one of the thousands of other readers there are on YouTube who and there are some incredible ones, like really quite mind-blowing readers out there, and see if they resonate with your energy better this month. That said, if you're finding that it's not quite there, check out the readings for your moon and rising signs, because those are the three most important. Your sun sign is a very small snapshot of the astrological blueprint that makes you you, and at times we resonate more strongly with our moon or our rising signs than we do with our sun sign, depending on what's going on in our life. So it's worth checking out. If you want a personal reading, I'll put my email in the description box. Hit me up and I'll sort you out. I am building a website, but it's taking a little bit of time. It's not live yet, so once it is, you can book directly through there and that'll be like super easy. But for the time being, it's just the email. So yeah, let's get on with this now. I've got a bit of anxiety about doing this this reading for you, Sagittarius, because I actually tried to do it last night. We'll call it a 40-minute video, and it was all over the place. The energy was so scattered, it was really, really bizarre, and I was getting some very clear situations, but no coherent narrative to stitch them all together. And actually in the reading, I went like, no, fuck this, and I picked up all of the cards. Like, I turned the phone down so that you could see what I was doing. I picked all the cards back up off the table, and I went, let's try again, see if we can, get this story straight. And the same fucking cards came up. Like, it was mental. All of the same cards came out, and in the same disparate way. And when I tried to connect them, it was scattered and weird. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again today. But I might actually upload that video because it's funny as fuck. But the point is, starting here with a clean slate. Had a good sleep. Let's see what gives. I'll be interested to see if any of the same cards come out again today. I really hope they don't, because it like prop boiled my noggin last night trying to make sense of what was going on. So it's going to be a general reading, in so much as I'm not going to pull cards for every week of the month or anything like that. Some readers do that and it works well for them. But I find my timing is interesting with things. So what I'm going to do instead is try and focus on a situation that you may be giving some time and mental resources to in the month of July, and see if I can't give you some advice as to how best to deal with that. Maybe what to anticipate. The reading last night, it felt like a career related, specifically a business. Somebody's setting up their own business. But then there was a whole love dynamic that came into it that didn't seem to make any sense, but the whole feeling of the reading was like a warning. But I didn't really get to the bottom of it, so I'm going to try again. As I do that, the Ace of Pentacles has come out. That was one of the cards that I pulled last night. Give us a couple of shuffles and see where we're at. Six of Wands also came out last night. Fuck me. I hope this comes out a little clearer than it did yesterday. The Chariot, that's a new one, that didn't come out last night, so that's good. Right, so I want 3 cards for Sagittarius for July. Okay. There's the first one, Strength. That came out last night. Card for Sagittarius for July. I'm going to take those because they just flipped over. I like them to jump out if they actually want to be selected. Something literally just being cack-handed. And again. Sagittarius. Okay, Knight of Wands. Again, a card that came out last night. It makes it sound like I pulled shitloads of cards. I really didn't. There were 3 main cards and then some clarifiers. One more card for Sagittarius. Alright, I'm going to give it one last go, and if it doesn't jump, then I'll just pick one. Sagittarius, July. Nope, the cards have gone quiet, so I'm going to give them another shuffle. 5 and cut the deck. There. The card is the 4 of Swords. So, interesting 3 cards to start. You've got the Fool at the bottom of the deck. It's the shadow card. So, we have Strength. We have the Knight of Wands. And we have the 4 of Swords. Obviously, the Knight of Wands, there he is, look, looking all dashing. Even his horse looks dashing. He's the card of Sagittarius, so you've come up directly in the middle of these cards, which is kind of cool. That's why we like to see people. To your left, you have Strength, and that's the card for Leo. So there may be a Leo in your life that is of some significance. And to the right, we have the 4 of Swords. There. And the 4 of Swords is about that. It can be about a lot of things. It can mean something as simple as meditation, but more often, because it follows the 3 of Swords, which is heartbreak and whatnot, it's that point that we all have hit at some point where we've had our hearts broken and we've withdrawn. Whether we've literally withdrawn and we've just hidden ourselves away like a hermit, or you know, we've just pulled a little bit of ourselves back from the world just while we're trying to heal ourselves up. It's that moment of repose. For some people that can be weeks and months of repose, but yeah. So those are your main cards. What we're doing now is we're going to try and put a bit of detail in here. A bit of meat on the bones of the reading. So I'm going to start off with getting a couple of clarifiers for Strength. I mean, aside from being a Leo card, if you don't have a Leo of significance, and that can be Sun, Moon or Rising, it doesn't have to be just the Leo Sun sign. And Strength talks about that incredible levels of courage and resolve and the ability to pick oneself up, no matter how how hard you've been knocked down. And if the cards were in a different order, I would think that that would be the interpretation, because if it followed the Four of Swords, then it would be, you know, you having taken the time to heal, and then you come up again and you go back out into the world. But it's not, it's the first card out, so let's get some clarifiers for strength. There's one. And there is the Three of Swords. I'm going to show you this one because it flipped over. It's the Ten of Cups. It's complete emotional fulfillment. But it didn't jump. I like them to jump if they actually want to be seen. So it's not going to form part of the reading. Oh, let's give myself a copy here. So another card. Strength. Nice strength. Strength here for Sagittarius. Eight of Swords and the Hierophant. I'm putting them back in because we only have one card, otherwise it starts getting messy. Why is the strength here for Sagittarius? Another 3. I'm going to take this one even though I feel like I dropped it because it is the Four of Swords. So it's a double confirmation of the 4, and that's the 3 of Pentacles, which means that you have 2 3s, clarifying that first card. Plus the 4 of Swords. So, and now I go on to the Knight of Wands. Who is you? Looks proper fancy in this deck. I really like this one. Why is the Knight of Wands here for Sagittarius? Doing it to Knight of Wands. Four of Cups. It's another 4. This reading is now dominated by 3s and 4s. Hello. And we have 2 of Wands. Kind of flew out even though I wasn't really asking for anything to be clarified at that point, so it's going back in the deck. So we have the 3 of Cups, another 3, it's 3 3s. The 9 of Pentacles. Like, if I didn't know any better, I would say that this was a relationship reading, because I also feel like this 2 of Wands came out upside down, but I couldn't tell from where it jumped if it was reversed or not. So, I'm going to tell you what I see. And remember, if this message doesn't resonate with you, then it's not for you. The first card is Strength. And unusually for a Strength card, this actually has a man on it. Usually Strength is depicted as a woman with a lion. But this is a chap. And there's something quite fiery about him. Sort of Knight of Wandsy. its horse, and there's warthog and stuff, this big cloak. They're going through water. It's the strangest thing. It's like I'm probably just being really dim, but on the boar's head, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like it's a pair of like hairdressing scissors and a comb. I don't know. Maybe that means something to you. That's exactly what it looks like to me. Anyway, just clarified by these 2 3s and this 4 here. So the 3 of Swords doesn't really need much to be said about it. You know, you've got big old red heart and it's pierced by 3 swords. It's the card of heartbreak. It's the card of emotional pain. It's a graphical depiction of that feeling that you have. And it feels just like something razor sharp has penetrated your heart and just kicked out everything that you thought you understood about the world. You know, the clouds in the background, it's just grey and it's grizzly and it's raining. It's misery. It's utter misery. And some readers interpret this as a 3-party situation, and that might well be the case. And you'll have to fill in the blanks. You know better than I. You know, once the person in the middle makes their decision, you know, that could be a situation that this card would depict. Or it could just be a broken heart. It could be people interfering in things. This is not a relationship reading, and there are ways to interpret it where it wouldn't be. But that's a very visceral pain. And that's clarified by the 3 of Pentacles, which is yet another card that I've seen readers use to indicate the possibility of a third-party situation. When I say third-party, that doesn't mean necessarily, you know, like a side chick or whatever like that. It can be the presence of someone else interfering in a connection. So it could be a parent, it could be, you know, any family member, it could be your boss, it could be you being put in a position where you are not the only one who has an opinion, and your opinion isn't necessarily the most important. Or the person that you're dealing with is allowing somebody else's opinion to interfere with stuff in a way that feels unjustified. The fact that we've got both of these cards together suggests that that's quite possibly what the situation is. And then we've got this Leo potentially here. Are you dealing with a Leo? Is this starting to ring any bells with you? I don't know. If it's not a Leo you're dealing with, then maybe you are having to employ great reserves of strength, Sagittarius, to keep plodding on with this level of interference in what you're doing. You know, and it's something that you care about. It's not, you know, I guess it could be fishing with the boys if that's something that, you know, is really a standout part of your calendar every month. But you understand what I mean. Like, this is something that you care about, something that means something to you, that somebody else is interfering with externally. And whether that is with a Leo, or whether that is just causing you to have to pull up reserves of strength that you didn't really appreciate that you had. Either way, it holds true. And the final clarifier for that is the 4 of Swords, which is interesting because obviously the 4 of Swords is the other major card of the read we have at the end there. And this, I was finding like the Rider-Waite version is a little less deathly, even though it has what appears to be, you know, oh, fuck, the word completely escapes me. You've probably seen them in churches, and there's like a, you know, stone relief of a knight who's buried underneath it or whatever. You know, it seems to be like that. He's lying on his sword, and the three swords are above him there. He's got his one sword, which is truth and honesty, integrity, and all of those things. And then there's the three that caused the injury, that dealt the what feels like a fatal blow, hanging up on the side there, clean, no longer dripping with his blood. He's taking a time out. So you stepping back from a situation that is having a lot of interference, that feels like it could well be the situation. It's very peaceful, that, which is interesting because the other four isn't quite as peaceful as that seems. Anyway, the next card that you've got is the Knight of Wands, and that obviously, like I said, is you. He's all armoured up and he's looking fine, you know, his horse has got a dress on, looking fancy. And it's clarified by the Four of Cups. So there is you in your element, present in the middle of your own reading. And we have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups can be a lack of gratitude. You notice how there's this hand from the divine offering him a cup there. You know, cups are emotions and feelings and then the inner workings of your soul. He's being offered this cup by hand out of a cloud. And he's not even looking at it. He's in a sulk, he's in a strop. He's got three in front of him. But he doesn't want those. He doesn't want the one he's being handed. It's quite petty. Is there an opportunity that you've missed? Is there an opportunity that you've passed over? And now you're regretting it, potentially. Or have you offered a cup to someone and it's been refused? With these cards here, talk of outside interference and, you know, other people, other opinions, other factors getting in the way of a connection, of a partnership, of a you plus someone else situation. And then we have this here, like, which makes me wonder if maybe you've been rejected in favour of the opinion of the third party that came in to interfere with the connection. You see the Two of Wands here, which I put in the upright, but actually I feel like it's more appropriate that it be in the reverse, which is actually kind of what I thought when it landed, but I wasn't sure. But now I'm looking at the reading and I'm thinking that probably is the case, because the Two of Wands is about planning. So the twos are internal. The threes, of which you have many here on the table, the threes are when something that has been, you've had your divine spark of inspiration about something that you like to do or something that you're passionate about. The two is when the planning starts. You see he's got his wand in his hand and he's brought his wand to the wall and he's looking out to sea with the globe there. He's planning. He's planning where to send his ships because he's like a merchant or something. You know. He's having a good old think And he's thinking logistics. By the time we get to a 3, the 3s are the external manifestation of shit that's happened in the 2. So, because when we're talking about rejection, I feel like it's removed your possibility to plan for anything. It's kind of cut you off at the knees. And that would make sense when we've got 3s here being that was cutting you off. I'm going to pull another card for that though, because I feel like that's only a small part of it. Yeah, see, you've got the 9 of Wands here. Are you feeling pretty beaten up by this entire situation? Like he's got such a hunted look on his face, this dude. And he's got like his 8 wands are at the back and he's kind of clinging on to the 9th one for dear life. There, and he's all bandaged up and shit. Oh, you can't really see how. Hunted. He looks completely hunted. He looks in that card. It's a card being sick of fighting. I think you have been. You've been fighting your corner because you're the Knight of Wands and you're full of energy and all of these things, but ultimately you've been rejected, and you know all these exciting things that you were planning have just stopped. They've just gone, and now you're here and you're fucking sick and you're just like, oh. But it's not a 10, which means it's not over yet. I mean, when 10 is the completion of the cycle, it's where you reach the end and you can put the burden down. Here you've still got a bit more fighting to do, but he's there and he's ready. He might be hanging off his wand, but he's there, he's upright, he's looking battered and bruised and probably like he's got like some massive PTSD, to be honest, by the look on his face. But he's still standing. The good news about that is that you've got a very, very short distance to go to get to the 10. Once you hit the 10 and you complete the cycle, it's done. Yeah, see? And so then we have the Hermit. And the Hermit is a true card of the internal. I mean, this is about going within. You can see he's got a little star on his lamp there, right? But the lesson of the Hermit is that all the answers you require are inside you. And so even though everything that's happened here has come from external sources, it's wounded you. You know, you've got your other internal card here, and it's blocked and it's upside down and it's been cut off. So, yeah, see, the Hermit's a 9 as well. Like, you need to have a sit and a little think. Go inside and try and deconstruct what happened. And more importantly, try and work out your part in it. People always kind of flinch when I say that, but you know, you're not a potato. You know, you contributed in some way. There's a lesson here to be learned from what has occurred. That's very clear. Because we leap from the situation which is dominated by 3s and 4s, and we hoist straight up to the 9s, right? So there was a really important lesson in here that you have to work out. You have to see where it comes from, what the root is in you, so that you don't repeat the same the same situation again. The next card is the Four of Swords. And like this one, just it's quiet, but it's not peaceful at all. You know, see this, the woman depicted here, she just looks dead, right? And there's a tombstone in the back and stuff. These swords are hidden under a veil, right? And I'll get to that because I think that's important. I've not really thought about that before, but and we have steps here, right? We look at this tree. The tree's a fucking person. Like, that's so dark. What the fuck? Right. I'll get to that. The fact that the swords are under a veil says to me that whatever you're looking for here, particularly here, what you need to learn to move on is not obvious, right? It feeds really nicely into the Hermit. So even just look at the colours. Colours are really similar. It feeds into the Hermit because it says, you know, they're there. These swords. Whatever damage that they've done, whatever damage they signify is currently covered by a sheet, right? It's in there, but you're not going to spot it straight away. You have to sit and you have to think. You have to do a bit of contemplation, and you have to be willing to objectively look at the situation. Don't relive it to re-experience it. Like, try and employ a level of detachment with this, because that's what Hermit does. You can look at it again without re-experiencing all the trauma that occurred. And once you do, you can pull the veil off the swords. Once you pull the veil off the swords, you can touch them. You know, they stop being a ghostly shape in the moonlight and in the darkness. You know, you can actually see what they are. Once you can see what they are, you can pull them out and put them down. Like, they don't need to go with you. Once you've done all of that, there's those steps up and out of wherever it is that you're currently in withdrawal. You know, the hermit mode that you find yourself in at the moment, there is a route out once you're done. The clarifying cards that we've got for that mental are a 3 and a 9 again. 3s and 9s, 3s and 9s. The Hermit's a 9. 9 of Wands. 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords. So this is another card that can indicate third-party situations. It's probably the one out of all of them that I am least likely to interpret that way, just because I'm all about the solidarity of women and the importance of friendship bonds, whether you're a woman or a man, like, and whether your friendship group is, you know, your gender or a different gender, like, it's irrelevant. But there's fruit here. It's abundant, you know, they've got their arms up in the air and they're celebrating. And for me, that's what this card is. So I feel like it is more likely that this is pointing out to you that you have a strong network of people around you who will support you whilst you're in this period of isolation. And, you know, like I said, that doesn't need to mean that you have literally, like, you're just eating takeaway pizza that you've ordered and you haven't left your house in 3 weeks. You're just fucking sitting, binge watching stuff on Netflix. You can withdraw while still being physically present. And this card is saying to me that your friends which is the family that you choose for yourself, your friends are there to assist you and help you get up again, because we're followed by the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence. It's a card of singlehood. It's a card of, it's not just a card of being those things, but it's a card of being entirely content with those things. Being Pentacles, it's earth energy, so it's very stable. You know, there's no fly-by-night energy here. This has been solidly worked for, solidly established. It's got a really good foundation. And it's got grapes, right? Grapes in the background there that the Pentacles are leaning on. Now, there's something about vineyards, like, I think vines need to be growing for like a couple of years or something before they start producing grapes. I think it's something like that. I don't know. I don't drink, so I'm not particularly interested. But I will find out now that I brought it up. The point is, it needs to be a solid foundation, a solid base. You cannot whip up grapes in a season. You can't do it. So there's a castle in the background as well, interestingly. And there's trees. You know, all of these things speak of solid foundations. They speak of things that have taken time to construct, or time to grow, or time to reach the level of maturity that they're at. But they have, and now this person is enjoying the fruit of their labours. You've got work to do inside you, but don't be afraid of being on your own, because that person there is a full whole person all by herself, and she's loving it. And when she finally meets someone, which she does, because she'll go on to the Ten of Pentacles with her family, she will bring herself as a whole, complete person to the partnership. You try and multiply fractions, like you multiply less than 1 by less than 1, and you get an even smaller number. Yeah. If you try and make something bigger out of something that's less than whole, you end up with less than you started with. So don't do it. Work on yourself. The Hermit is here telling you to work on yourself. The Nine of Pentacles is here telling you that it is absolutely worth your time to work on yourself. And then you have an exterior network of people who are close to you, who will celebrate you with you, or who will commiserate with you, but who will keep you grounded and solid while you work on the things that you need to process and work through. And it seems like the relationship breakdown and the rejection that ensued from the interference is quite a big thing, especially for a Sagittarius, because you're very easygoing and you don't actually like to be trapped very much. I wouldn't say trapped, but you know, like kind of stationary for too long. You know, the amblers of the zodiac. So if you've given quite a lot of yourself to a situation or to a person only to end up being rejected, that's really quite smart, I think. But it's not the end of the world. It's just an opportunity for growth. So I'm going to pull some advice cards. See if we can't see. So So we have the Hanged Man. We've got 3 actually. So rather than the 2 I requested, you've got 3 advice cards, which is kind of cool because, you know, whatever. I just love these cards so much. I'm just going to show you the pictures because they're really evocative. It's the Hanged Man. The advice of the Hanged Man is asking you to... It has a couple of interpretations. It can be about sacrifice, and it can be about a change of perspective. And it can be about all of those things together. The fact that you're in a 4 of Swords state, it's kind of like a lower echo of the Hanged Man anyway, because in the traditional Rider-Waite he's depicted as like hanging upside down by his foot from a tree. And I believe it's the only card in the Rider-Waite that is actually taken from established mythology. It's Odin hanging from a Dragonsill or whatever the Tree of Knowledge is called in order to gain wisdom. For 9 days he hung upside down from a tree. Viewing the world from a different perspective, changing your perspective, stepping back so that you can objectively assess what's happened, is wisdom. It's the highest form of wisdom that there is. And this absolutely corresponds with the cards that have come out so far. Step back, observe, deconstruct, look from a different angle at things. Because the worst is over. It's a 10 of Swords there. It literally cannot get any worse. You know, a lot of people get upset when they see the 10 of Swords, but the 10 of Swords for me is a pretty fucking welcome card actually, because it's kind of, you can't really sink any lower. You're done now. Yeah. And often there's light, you know, indicating the coming dawn. You know, the sun will always rise again. And the only way there from the very rock bottom is up. So the worst is over. And then you have the Horned one. It's card number 15, which is the devil. But kind of the more pagan interpretation of the devil before the Christians came and stole it from us. It's about, I don't want to use the phrase the lower nature of us, because I don't think humans are particularly civilized. It's the more natural part of us. It's our animal brain. You know, it's the hunting, sleeping, fucking kind of level of stuff. Which is kind of how it comes to be associated by the devil, because it's the stuff that humans actually find quite fun when they get stuck into it. But it's temptation, and it warns about doing things to an extreme. So if you have taken up anything that is helping you cope with the stress of the situation that you currently find yourself in, the Horned one is here to warn that maybe you might be taking it a little bit too far at the moment. and don't give in to temptation. And I feel like that message is specific for someone. Don't give in to temptation. That may only be one of you, but you know exactly what I fucking mean. I feel that very strongly. So I'm just going to pull a clarifier for that one, because I was just struck with the absolute knowledge that somebody knew exactly what I fucking meant by that. Yeah. If you give in to temptation, you're going to find yourself in a world of shit, right? And just isolated and ostracized. And being as, you know, we're talking about having the people that care about you, that hold you up, you know, being part of your support network. Don't piss them off. Don't cause this situation for yourself by giving in to temptation and abusing yourself and them, frankly. I feel. I don't know, this whole message feels like it's actually really quite specific rather than a general. And what time we're at, like 46 fucking minutes now. Like, I need to learn to talk faster. I have an outcome for July. It's 8 of Wands. It didn't jump out, so I'm going to take it. Can't still want to talk. Okay, so for an outcome, we've got the 3 of Pentacles again, and the 6 of Pentacles, and I feel like this is talking about working with your friends, building something solid, and achieving balance in your life, because I feel like that is missing at the moment. You didn't really have that much of an indicator to it until the Devil came up. I feel like maybe you're kind of all over the shop at the moment, and what you need more than anything else is balance, and you need to work with other people to achieve that balance. Primarily the work that needs to be done is inside you, and you're not going to get that balance until you're balanced internally as well as externally. In fact, getting balanced internally is going to be the key to getting balanced externally. Stop abusing shit and try and look at things a little differently to the way that you have been doing. Don't fight the work that you need to do. Submit to it. So, if any of that resonated at all, feel free to leave a comment down below. Like, that's literally the point of me being on YouTube, is to try and help people in any way that I possibly can. If you don't want to talk about it, that's absolutely fine. Just give me a like or something. Let me know that it hit the spot with you. Yeah. See you next month.